What about these enemies or creatures in general make you like them so much? What makes them feel so real to you, more than just pixels on a screen, to where you forget that you're even playing a game? Hi, I'm Yeetle. I'm making a video game about an astronaut, and that video game needs enemies. So I've been really diving into this idea of what makes a good enemy, what makes a good enemy's AI, and ultimately that comes down to your immersion. While making my creature, I found a lot of useful ideas from other videos that I implemented into my own code later. And if anything in this video helps you or interests you, please consider liking and subscribing. It's my first video and I really want it to do well. Now, without much more talking, let's get into the code of this. This is a simple movement script. Feel free to pause at the top. Don't worry about the AI enabled. This is going to take your current player's position and your current enemy's position that the script is on, and it's going to get the direction from your enemy to your player, and it'll be using that to move your enemy towards the player using rigid body move position. If your creature doesn't jump, that's all you need to know. Otherwise, for my frog creature, I have a hop method where he will jump in the air, and a timer to stop him from continuously jumping towards the clouds, and then a final look rotation to change the way that the enemy is facing, so it's facing the player. Looking back on this now, you only need player transform, your jump force, and your enemy speed. You actually don't need the notice radius right now. It'll come into play later though, so it's not a problem. And if we start our game, you'll see that our enemy is now hopping towards our player no matter where we're at on the map, and it will constantly hop forever and ever. You see its rotation also changing to face the player. It might be a little hard to see, but check it out right here. When I stop, you can see it's starting to turn, which is nice. Congratulations, you have a basic movement for your enemy. So now we're going to get into some deeper things. We have a line of sight method I want to implement, which will mean if my enemy can see the player, he's going to go toward him, hop toward him. But if my enemy can't see the player, he will not move. He won't do anything because he can't see my player. There's nothing to go after. So check this out. We made a Boolean method in line of sight that will tell our enemy, yo, if you can see the player, start moving. Otherwise, stop moving, not move, don't move. Let's take a look. So we'll be using the same direction vector as before and this raycast. And what a raycast is, it'll shoot out this little arrow that you don't see towards the direction it's given, and will output a hit to whatever it hits. So if it hits our player or hits a wall, it will output those. Otherwise, it will return nothing because it didn't hit anything. If it does hit something, it will return that hit, and we will check it to see if it's the player. If it's the player, return true and start moving towards the player. Otherwise, it's false and keep staying still. And boom, now our enemy is not moving until we get close enough for him to see us. Now he's turning, he's starting to hop toward us. Now we're going to bring him over to the wall here. We're going to show the line of sight where if I'm behind a wall, he can't see me, he's not moving. Now if I wrap back around again, he can see me, start hopping again, come back, can't move. So what's next for our little guy? I think a big aspect of immersion is that these enemies have their own lives. They do their own thing. And a part of that would be an idle state, where if he can't see my player, he's going to start wandering around doing frog stuff, whatever that may look like. So in our code, we added an idle method for when the player isn't in our frog's line of sight. Also, we reversed the run to player function. That way it's a run from player because our frog is a passive mob. He should be running away from our player. So I just switched the direction he's going in. So if we take a look at idle, it has idle wander in it. Don't worry about this. We'll use it later. But for idle wander, I'm going to try and break this down. This is our break timer. All it is it gives a break for our frog between jumps. That way he's not frantically jumping like he would when he's running from the player. We want him to be chill, hop, stop a little, hop, stop a little, be a frog. Next is our moving timer. It's the same thing as before with the hop, where we give him time to hop so he doesn't jump into the sky indefinitely. And when he's not jumping, we're getting a new direction with our getIdle direction method, and we're setting our new moving timer to the move duration, which should just be 1. All the getIdle direction method is doing is giving us a random direction from 0 to 360, taking this angle and then making it into a vector and then returning that vector direction. You actually don't need the target position, you can just delete that. Back to our else, which is just the movement, just our motion, where we will move the position and then our hop again, and then we'll set a break timer so that we take a break between hops. Because I'm hopping, I'm going to set this to 1. You can really just set it to 1 privately, but now we have idle movement for our enemy. So, big little milestone, I guess. So now he'll just continuously hop around in random directions forever, unless my player gets near him and he starts running. The problem with this is he can hypothetically and really eventually just hop off the map with how small it is right now. With enough jumps in a certain direction, he'll just end up leaping off the edge, nowhere to be found, and we can't let that happen. So we need to add a return to start method. All this will do is set a radius around our enemy, saying if he gets outside this radius, we need to come back to the start. So we have a Boolean method is returning, which will check if our enemy's distance from his original place that he spawned at is greater than our max wander distance that we get to set. If he's outside that range, we're going to set it to true. We're going to say, hey, you need to start heading back to where you belong, which is your spawn position. To get back to that spawn position, we made a return to start method, which will get the direction from where you're currently at in your transform, and then your main idle position, which is your spawn location. And we will be doing that with the same movement principles we've been doing this entire time. All you need to add is a max wander distance. I did 15. Now you can see the red circle around our enemy, our creature. Pretty large circle being 15, but you'll see that inside this circle, he'll just hop randomly. But if we put him outside of this max wander distance, he'll switch, say, hey, we need to go back to the start. He'll start making his way towards the spawn position, which is 1/3 of the max wander distance or the minimum wander distance. And you'll see he's hopping over there. And once he gets in there about now, you'll see he'll go back to normal and idling and jumping at random. One final touch up is to add the look rotation 2 lines of code to idle, wander, and return to start so that he's always looking in the direction that he's moving. Now it's time to give our frog a little update. Check it out. Our frog is now a frog. That took me about 30 minutes in Blender. Not too proud to say that, but hey, check him out. He's cute. So now you have a working creature / frog AI where he'll idle around and hop around, do his own thing at random. But when I get close enough, he'll see me and I get his notice radius. He'll start running away, or you make him run towards you, however your creature is built. But when I leave that notice radius, he starts to run back to the start. And that's about it for now. That's as far as I've gotten. Surely I'll make it better sooner or later, but for right now, I really appreciate what I made. And you can see I can also pick up my frog. If you ever want to see a video about that, let me know in the comments. But now I guess I can fix some bugs involved with that. But I appreciate y'all watching. Please like and subscribe if it helped you at all. I hope you have a great day, and I'm out.